Today is not a fashion video, even though I did Susanize my look for the day. But what is today? Today is another one of those wonderful travel videos. Last time we went to Puebla, Mexico. Well, we're going to Mexico again today, but we're going to Monterrey, Mexico. Now, what's behind me here is a canvas, and this is authentic sailboat canvas that my husband has made into a painting canvas. And what he has done is he has actually painted a picture on the other side. And then each painting that he does, he gives a name, and each painting has a story because he says every painting needs a story. This one is called The Stairs of Fear. So this painting has the authentic story on the back, and then we've got another one here in the frame. So when you want to hang this on the wall, you can hang it on the wall and not have to take it off to read the story. You can hang the story next to the painting. Isn't that wonderful? So this is called The Stairs of Fear. Now, is this okay, cameraman? No glare? All right. Now I'm going to sit here and I'm going to read this story because we are going to Monterrey, Mexico, and pay attention to the Stairs of Fear. Now, let me put on my readers. And again, this is a very intense story. It's not going to give you nightmares, but it is very intense. So here we go. The Stairs of Fear. All right. My dad told me the story about my granddad and grandmother in Mexico. And I'm learning to paint, and he suggested that while I listen, I might as well paint our family history in a story on this old tarp for practice. So this is how I'm going to start. And I'm going to speak for my dad. We were both born into poverty, poorest of the poor, and Dorota was the love of my life. So to pass time, we would play a new game that Dorota had invented with old poker chips. She had found an old crate with one side painted with a black and white pattern, and it was a small pleasure that we had together. One spring day in 1845 in Monterrey, Mexico, my grandparents heard rumors of Mexico having problems with the United States. Fort Black was right down the road, about 1 mile from the village of Monterrey, and I was going to get married this day to the love of my childhood because I had talked to the priest the day before about getting married. Well, we were on our way to the small church when 3 soldiers stopped us with rifles and bayonets. "You must come with us now. The general wants to see you at La Casona Hotel." We were afraid. We heard about this general, a cruel, mean, very tough man, and he was over 6 regiments that total about 2,400 men. We looked at each other. Why did he want to see us? We were afraid. So we arrived at the hotel under armed guards, and the soldiers said it was for our protection. So as we entered the hotel lobby, we were told that the general was upstairs in the presidential suite. We turned to go upstairs, and Dorota started up. Then I started to go, and a soldier stopped me and said, "Not you. You sit on the couch until the general is done." I tried to go up the stairs, but I was told to sit with force, pushing me onto the couch. I didn't know what they were going to do, and I instantly became very angry. She turned and looked back, and she looked at me with confusion. A guard told her to move on. She took a step up, one after another, until she reached the top, and she didn't know what was about to take place. Dorota said, "God will take care of me." So she went up to the top of the stairs, down the hall to where the guard was standing with the door open, and she entered the room, and as the door closed, the general said with evil delight, "You are a very beautiful young lady." He pulled a chair from a table and commanded, "Sit here." The table was small, made of pine, but very strong. She said, "I will do it for $5 each time." Laughingly, he agreed. "Let's begin." Hours passed and the general could not handle the anxiety he was feeling. His frustration turned to anger, so he put his coat and sword belt back on. He paid what he owed. He was a man of honor, and this lack of ability was too much to bear. Out the door he stormed. The next commander came in to take his turn with Dorota, and then word got quickly around camp. All ranks of men ran to the hotel, and a line started at the door of the room. Down the long hall, down the stairs, out the hotel doors, around the corner, and went 2 more blocks, about 2,000 men in all. Well, they would not tell me anything, only bring me food, drink, and a small putrid pillow. Men were coming down the stairs, dressing themselves after the intense counter with my love. Some of the men cussed, some laughed, and some were talking to themselves. I overheard one soldier say to the other, "There will never be another one like that one." I didn't know what to think. As the day was coming to an end, I continued to pray for God's help, and alas, no help came. Slowly the line shortened, one at a time, and soldier after soldier. The last man came through the door of the hotel, and he was ready to take his turn and have some fun. The line continued to move. He was at the bottom of the stairs, and then one step at a time, moving slowly up the stairs until he reached the room. He entered the room and slowly closed the door behind him. Just like the others before him, he left the room with anger and frustration. He was finished. On his way out, he told his comrades that had just been with Dorota, "She is the best." He wiped his brow and then fastened his belt. I watched the stairs and saw a foot, then 2 feet, and her legs came into my sight. I knew it was my love, and she reached the stair landing, turned and looked at me. I walked towards the stairs and stood standing at the base, and Dorota was exhausted and looked curiously satisfied. She smiled at me. She fell into my arms and crying for forgiveness for having kept me down the stairs for such a painstaking amount of time. And she asked if I knew what was taking place while I was kept prisoner waiting for her return. I said, "I don't want to know. I can't think of the awful things that they made you do." She could not hold back her tears and her laughter. A large bag fell to the floor from behind her back. She had won over 15,000 US. "I won this playing our little game we play every night. Our checkers. We're not poor anymore." We went to the church to get married that minute, and I learned that not everything is as it appears to be. As I prayed for God to intervene and thought that He didn't, He was actually doing much more than I prayed for. Now, the artist is Earl Pruitt. The story, fact or fiction, you decide. Now, other stories and paintings are featured on his website, Earl Pruitt at Mexican Art. Oh, no, it's not. It's E. Pruitt, Mexican Art at yolasite.com. Write it down. E. Pruitt, Mexican Art at yolasite.com. And this is me, Susan. Thanks for going with me on a journey to Monterrey, Mexico, the stairs of fear. Ba-ba-ba! And this is me, Susan. Thanks for watching and thanks for subscribing.